Hey guys, welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners. Today we are going to be redoing my light system on the front roll bar. I actually took everything apart for you guys so that we can walk through this step by step, including the wiring. So stick around. I think you're going to enjoy this. Most of your front bumpers that you will be replacing on your front Jeep are going to have some spot where lights would be mounted. Most of them do. Either they'll be mounted right in front of the winch, or they're going to have pre-drilled holes on the side, or even on the roll bar itself. Most of the times they've got a tab for lights. Now, for whatever reason, even though I really liked this bumper, when I purchased this bumper, it had nowhere to mount accessory lights. I did find these brackets right here, you can pick up off Amazon for about 20 bucks, and it basically allows you to mount a light anywhere you want on a 2-inch tube. These are the ones that I chose. I just got them via UPS a couple of days ago, so really excited. These are actually 700 watt ultra white LEDs. These should be bright. My wife has been terming them Wally. Kind of has that Wally look, so it might add some style to the front of the JK. But so how you want the light set up is ultimately going to be up to you, because it's your Jeep and it's your personal preference. You could have the light sitting up top of the roll bar. You can have the light hanging down below the roll bar. You could even have the light mounted up here on the winch if that's where you want it. Whatever the case may be, it does come down to personal choice. Functionality does play a part, so you do want to make sure that the light is visible, especially if you're going to use it and it's not just there for the aesthetics. Now we've got them hung. They're not quite tightened down yet because we still got to angle them. I want them to work before I angle them, but we are going to talk about the wiring. Now, a lot of people don't like to see the wires. The disadvantage of mounting lights on the front bumper is no matter how you do it, unless you want to take the time to drill a hole and fish it down through your bumper, you're gonna see the wires. But the trick is to minimize it. In our last setup, we ran it down the side over here and tucked it in over here. I think we're gonna try something a little different, and we're gonna run the wires straight back from the lights and behind the grill. So in order to do this right, we're gonna have to take the grill off. So give me a moment, let's get the grill off the front of the Jeep. The nice thing about Wranglers is they are basically designed to come apart. So it's just a matter of push pins popping up out of the way like this. And then as you can see, the grill is free. There is a clip right here on both sides that is a pressure clip, so you want to just pull back. Before you remove them, you got the wiring that is going to go to your blinkers. Then, just like that, the grill is free. So now that the grill's off, we actually have some space to work back here. Okay, as I had mentioned in a previous video where we had installed the light bar, I run everything off of a relay box that I already have in here. Now, what you want to do is find the wire to the switch that you want to run these lights off of, and you're going to want to run a power wire from here all the way to the front. You're also going to need a ground wire. That doesn't have to go back to the relay box or to the battery. It just needs to find a ground on the body itself so that it actually completes the circuit. It's about the length that we're going to need. It is a great idea to wrap all of your wiring in loom. The loom protects the wiring from the heat of the motor and from any dry rot, helps to make it last a little bit longer. Plus, under the hood, it definitely looks a whole lot cleaner. So, it's just a matter of finding the little holes, making sure to avoid any major moving components. You don't want it anywhere near the belt or anywhere near the fan. So just take your time, make sure you have enough wire, and get it through. Besides your radiator, up here, there is plenty of spots where there are holes that you can pull wires through. So now we have the wiring through. Let's talk about how we're going to attach the lights. What we are going to do to connect these wires to that wire is we are actually going to use a watertight automotive connection plug. Now, there's two reasons why we do this. One, it's watertight, okay, and this is going to be exposed to the elements. But two, if for whatever reason you ever have to take the front bumper off, or you got to remove the lights to get to something, you don't have to cut wires. All you got to do is unplug them, back it off, and then you plug them back in, and they're going to continue to work. So that being said, on the factory wiring that comes on the lights, you have your leads that come out here. You've got red, this is going to be your power, black is going to be your ground. On the plug, you've got red for power, black for ground. I'm also going to show you a little bit of a cheat that is going to make this quick and easy. We are going to use these guys. Now, there is a lot of flack on the market about using Scotch locks because they're cheap, they're fast. I don't really know, but these guys are also weather tight, and they're the easiest way to make electrical connections under the hood of any vehicle that you're working on. And then that's it. They're connected. All we got to do is the same thing for the other side, which we are actually going to match wire lengths here. Now you'll notice that my red side and my black side are two different lengths. Okay, I'm going to show you why I did that here in just a moment, but and then that's it. On the wiring that is coming out of the Jeep, we've got the other end of the plug, and then it's just a matter of plugging it in. Maybe, there we go, just like that, and we now have it connected. Now, like I have mentioned several times in the past, before you get to the point of tucking wires and hiding everything, now that we have power going to it, let's see if they work. Work. So the reason I staggered them, we wrap electrical tape around them and they're not both in the exact same spot. It makes it a little bit easier to loom it. And like I said, I'm a big advocate for loom. One, it's a cleaner look. Two, it is going to protect it against the heat and the elements. We're only going to run the loom probably right about there. So we need to cut this to length. Grab a pair of dikes. And on the very end, we're going to take the electrical tape and we're just going to wrap it again. This will help keep it from separating the wires out and pulling the loom apart, just like that. And then there you go. Ultimately, we just made a wiring harness for our lights. So the wiring that comes out of the Jeep is going to set behind the grille. You don't want to plug this in just yet, because ultimately we got to get the grille back on the Jeep. However, there's plenty of room for the wire. It is okay for it to just sort of set in there. You don't want it too tight because you don't want to be pulling against it and run the risk of it separating. So we are going to set this just like that and kind of make it so that you can get to it, because you're going to have to pull it through the grille before you put the grille back on. So let's get the grille back on the Jeep. So now that we have the grille back on, we have access to our wiring. We have our wiring harness made for our lights. So now we just plug it in, tuck it down, just like that, and it is out of the way. Okay, so now we've got the lights installed. We've got them wired up. Wires look nice and clean, right? However, we're not done, okay? Because first of all, they're still loose down here, but we're gonna have to angle them to the way that we want them. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. The easiest way that I know how to do it. How you want your lights to be angled really comes with experience in driving it off-road and deciding where you want the light to shine. I have lights up here and lights up top, and I have lights underneath, so these ones I want to point more straight out. So let me show you how I'm going to angle them. All right, so ultimately what you want to look for is a flat surface to point them at, just like you would with your headlights. Now, once you take the Jeep off-road, you want to make sure to bring the adjustment tools with you, because at night you get on the trail, you might decide, you know what, I think I want them a little higher, or I want them a little lower, or whatever the case may be. So now the next step to take it out on the trail, and let's see just how bright they are. All right, guys, so we're back out in the desert outside of Vegas. It's dark. Let's turn on these lights and let's see what they look like. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and installing these lights. If you have any questions, or if there's something specific that I didn't cover that maybe you have a question about as far as installing lights, please let me know. Meanwhile, happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time.